Have you ever noticed that some people become more spiritual but not more mature? The more they talk about healing, the less actual change you see. They use all the right words, boundaries, triggers, consciousness, regulation, but the same relationship pattern repeat. The same conflicts, the same endings. And if you question it, the answer is often something like, the other person is just not as evolved, enlightened, spiritual, whatever. I'm saying this because I have seen it more than once and it made me uncomfortable. Because the person truly believed they were growing. That's what makes this tricky. This isn't about fake spirituality, it's about what happens when healing slowly becomes part of your identity. Especially if you are new to spirituality or self-development, this is important to notice early. When you first enter these spaces, everything feels empowering. You learn new system, attachment styles, nervous system regulation, shadow work, boundaries. You finally have language for things that used to feel confusing. And this feels good. It should feel good. But there's a moment that can happen without you noticing. Growth stops being something you practice and starts being something you are. You are the self-aware one now. You're the cycle breaker. You're the emotionally mature partner, the conscious friend. And that identity feels strong and elevated. And the ego loves that. The ego doesn't disappear when you start healing, it just changes roles. I saw this very clearly with someone I knew. He was deeply spiritual, read constantly, spoke about consciousness all the time. He knew all the right language. If you heard him talk, you would assume he had done an incredible amount of work. But in his romantic relationships, he kept repeating the same pattern. The same type of partner, same dynamics, same endings. And instead of really looking at that pattern, he explained it through enlightenment. They are not as evolved. I've outgrown most people. They are not doing enough work. It sounded deep and advanced, but nothing was actually changing. And that's when I understood something uncomfortable. Spiritual language can become armor, and armor feels strong, but it's still protection. And it doesn't only happen in spirituality, it happens in therapy culture, self-improvement spaces, even in productivity culture. There's a comparison happening all the time. Who has done more work? Who is more regulated? Who reads more of the right books? Growth becomes a kind of social currency, and once growth becomes currency, the ego gets involved. Being aware isn't just helpful, it gives you status. And when someone disagrees with you, it's easy to frame that disagreement as immaturity or projection. That's a very safe position for the ego. Quick pause here. If you're interested in spirituality and self-development that also questions itself, that's what I explore here on this channel. If that resonates, please subscribe. It generally helps the channel grow. So now to the part that concerns me even more. When your identity depends on being the one who sees more than others, you can slowly lose discernment. You have probably seen this online. Someone starts with crystals and meditation, then algorithm-based spirituality comes in, the hidden truth, and at some point they are sharing conspiracy content, convinced that they have assessed knowledge the rest of the world can't see. The issue is not spirituality, the issue is ego without critical thinking. If being more aware becomes part of your identity, you become vulnerable to ideas that make you feel special, chosen, different, above the mainstream. And that can look like awakening, but sometimes it's just ego reinforcement. Real growth increases discernment. It makes you more careful with claims, more open to being wrong, more willing to say, I don't know. It doesn't make you superior. It makes you more flexible. Healing should interrupt patterns. If your relationship patterns stay the same, but your vocabulary gets more advanced, that's not transformation. That's basically rebranding. And I'm not saying this to judge anyone, but because I have seen how easy it is to slip into, especially when you finally feel powerful after a long time of feeling powerless. Protect your discernment. Watch what your identity attaches to. Ask yourself honestly from time to time, are my patterns changing or just my language? Because the ego doesn't leave when you start healing, it evolves. And being aware of that is part of the work. Thank you for listening. Take care. See you in the next one.